Iceberg green. That's some cold shit. Ooh.
Hey, welcome to my podcast, Cold Narratives. I'm your host, Iceberg Green. About to let y'all hear some of these cold narratives. Check it out. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna talk about the Kyrie situation a little bit because they got a narrative out there about this brother. I'm sure you heard about the post they wanting to take down and all the different stuff. And Amazon didn't take it down, but that's a whole nother episode. But basically, the narrative's always been this guy is toxic. When he plays on teams, he doesn't appreciate his players and the organization, whatever. But what this guy did, he's an awesome player. Let's just get that out there. He's an amazing player, and we all know that. So what the media do is they'll try to make it seem like the players is a reason how the organization is ran. No, it starts from the top. And what they'll try to get you to think that it starts from the players because you see them on the TV, the media all the time. But it actually starts from the top. They're the ones who make decisions on player salary, the place they can go, all the different things of that nature. Sort of like what Colin Kaepernick was talking about. But for this occasion right here, Kyrie decided to say, I'm going to ball out. I'm going to let them know that I'm on it all over the league. So teams just pretty much open up their bag for him. And he's in Dallas right now, where I'm happy for the brother, and I really wish him most success, except against the Warriors. But that's some cold shit. But yeah, and he really made things happen for us as a people and let us know that we can create our own narrative, and that's exactly what this brother did. And here's a excerpt from Professor Black Truth, because I love this brother, man. But this is his take on it. Check it out.
See, the loudmouths over at ESPN, they can't give you any names of any NBA players who thought that Kyrie Irving is poison or who don't want to play with them. However, I can give you names of all of the big-time, big-name NBA players who stood by Kyrie Irving during the white media's attempted assassination of his character, the non-controversy. See, we can put names on the people who support Kyrie Irving, but the anonymous people, these so-called people in the league who he's polarized, notice how the white media can never give you any names. They just give you a whole bunch of vagaries. That's white media's classic tactic. The only time that they mention other people's opinions, alleged opinions, is if they agree with them. But notice that they can never back it up. They can never substantiate it. So Kyrie Irving's standing is just fine in the league. He's respected by other players. That's the reason why when he's going to Dallas, you don't see anybody saying, oh, you can cut me from the team or I'm leaving. You don't see any players going on Twitter throwing any shade or any leaked reports of any players who just don't want him there. Though this is Stephen Smith we're talking about, and nobody expects him to say anything intelligent. This is the same creep who said that he gets up every morning wondering how he can make his white media bosses more money, and then, kind of as an afterthought, he wonders how he can get some of it. He doesn't want to be master of his own destiny, and he has fear and contempt for anyone who does. So, of course, when Kyrie Irving humiliates Stephen Smith's white paymasters, of course Smith's going to lose what little mind he had. I'm still wondering when Stephen Smith is going to go crazy like this over the fact that Dana White is not only still a free man after he beat his wife in public, but he's also still ahead of the UFC. Dana White has suffered no penalties for his wife beating, and neither Stephen Smith nor the rest of ESPN has any screaming or yelling or vitriol for Brett Favre, who still has suffered no consequences after he stole tons of government money from the poor. Oh, and for the record, up until this last week, the Brooklyn Nets were on their way to being a number 1 seed because of Kyrie Irving. Now the only place the Nets are on their way to is the toilet. That 4th place they currently sit at, that's going to be the highest that they get. Not just this year, but in perpetuity. I'll bet you that Dallas is going to end the season in a far better position than the Brooklyn Nets. And on a side note, does anyone ever take sports advice from Stephen Smith? I'm just saying.
Okay, so I'm sure y'all heard that. The key thing out of that, I love the controversy, man. Professor Black Truth, man. Follow him on YouTube at B1, Professor Black Truth. But yeah, we got to hold these owners accountable. We got to really point the narrative at them and see what they feel about our players and, what they think, because we hear a lot about what the players think. We hear a lot about that. So it's time to switch the narrative.
Iceberg green. That's some cold shit.
I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to say God bless everyone going through the struggle. And watch out for them cold narratives that the government be trying to push on us, y'all. And to all my black people, I would be nothing without y'all. Thank you all.